Well, after the service of notice, once you've served notice, they've got 14 days to respond to you. Now, under the previous party wall legislation, which I think was the 1935 Building Act, if you didn't hear anything, they were deemed to have consented and agreed to the works, and you could just crack on. However, the new Act swung that situation around completely. So if you don't hear from them now, they've dissented under the terms of the Party Wall Act. Now, what dissent means, it means that there is a dispute. And if there is a dispute, that needs to be resolved by surveyors. They can't resolve it themselves, which is why the Act says they need to appoint an outside person. You can't act as your own party wall surveyor. That would be unreasonable. So what then happens is that the adjoining owner can appoint a surveyor to represent them, and the adjoining owner is the person who lives next door to you. You're known as the building owner. But then you, as the building owner, appoint your own surveyor, and then the two surveyors, who you pay for as the building owner, produce a party wall award which deals with the resolution of the dispute. For example, if there's any questions as to how the works will be done, the timing of when the works will be done, and issues like that.
Were we at risk of any of this happening to us? Or not really?
Yes, you were. This particular one here, because you had a block of flats next door to you, you got all those letters. And what generally tends to happen is, as soon, and this is something that you need to watch out for under the Party Wall Act, as soon as you put in a planning application, that planning application is open for members of the public and little scallywags to view. And what happens is other surveyors or other people who are putting themselves out to be surveyors, will write to the adjoining owners, and this is an enormous business. They'll write to the adjoining owners and they'll say, your next door neighbour's doing building work, appoint us. It's not going to cost you a penny. It's going to cost the building owners the work, going to cost the building owners the money, and they get themselves appointed at an early stage before you've even served notice on your next door neighbour. So when you come round to serving your notice, they've already got a surveyor appointed, and you don't get a chance to discuss with them your proposals, because what you're doing might be fairly minimal, might not have any effect on them. And this is a little sub-industry in itself, with a number of people that do this that make a lot of money, but you'll generally find that they're not chartered surveyors doing it. They are unqualified people. So I would say, as a warning, if you ever receive any of these letters, put them in the bin.
We're really lucky that we didn't have that.
Yeah, if this had gone through the Party Wall Act, you would have not just one neighbour next door, you've got a block of flats next door. So by doing an adjacent excavation notice, you would have all the flats in there and the freeholder. But you built it on a raft. You see, there are ways of designing a project to avoid the Party Wall Act. And if your designer or your surveyor who's designing your extension is aware of the Party Wall Act, sometimes there are things they can do to make sure that it doesn't come within the terms of the Party Wall Act. For example, this extension here, we designed it on a raft because we could do in this borough, and the soil situations meant that we were able to do that. But by using a shallow raft, we weren't undermining any of the adjoining properties, so it got you out of doing the Party Wall Act and probably saved you thousands of pounds. So that's something that, as surveyors, we consider when we're designing a project, whether we can actually redesign it. It's not always possible, but sometimes we can redesign it in such a way that the Party Wall Act doesn't actually apply.